guys, it's your girl Faith and I'm back with another video for you. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, welcome to my channel. I really hope that you enjoy my content, and I would urge you, if you do, to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know every time I post a new video. And for my returning subscribers, I really do appreciate you guys, and I hope that we can continue to grow this family. But yeah, let's get into this video. So what I'm about to share with you guys is based off of my recent experience. I thought this advice may be helpful to someone who, like me, likes to plan their future and at times may get so caught up in the future they've envisioned and making it happen that they lose sight of many things in the process. So what exactly do I mean by that? Let me give you guys some background. From as early as 4 turning 5 years old, so that was first grade, I knew that medicine was the path for me. I knew that I would be working in healthcare. I knew that I would be a doctor. And I know that sounds pretty early, it sounds pretty young, but I knew. The only explanation I could give to you guys for that was God, which is who I believed gave me that drive, gave me that direction. And as the years went on, that was affirmed for me by him, I believe. And so I had no doubts about it. I've always been passionate about it. I've always loved it. And I just believe that's where I belong. I believe my purpose is tied to that. And so, yeah, as time went on, I planned my goals, my aims, they were all tied to that. And my life as well. And I had set timelines for when I was to achieve things. I finished high school at 16. I wanted to get into med school right after. I planned my life accordingly. And every step of the way, I would ask God for affirmation as to whether or not he wanted me to continue to pursue this. And he created and opened doors for that. And so I followed his leading. But in recent months or time, I realized that my mindset and my attitude towards how I was going to achieve those things had turned to, or rather, I developed a mindset of wanting to set myself up for life. I wanted to set up my future in such a way that I did not struggle financially. My kids did not struggle financially. I'm able to make networks and connections with people such that even my children would be able to benefit from that. My name on its own and the schools and the workplaces where I have worked would carry enough weight that I would not have to struggle to get into certain spaces, or I would already be placed in certain spaces that I wouldn't have to struggle in life, because I had decided that this life is not for struggling. This life is not for suffering. No, I refuse that, But I realized that recently that I got so caught up in this mindset of setting myself up for life. And I was only conscious of it because I believe God said, hey, we need to have a talk about this. I need to stop you, right here, because you're losing it. And for sure, I believe that if I kept on going like the way I was, I would have lost sight of what was most important. And this is why I want to share this experience with you. So, as you saw, like in my previous 2 videos, I had moved from Michigan to Massachusetts. And so, yeah, I got a job there. And even in my job hunting process prior to my graduation, I made sure I was looking at jobs that would get me in the spaces that I wanted to get into. I was looking at jobs that would give me a strong recommendation for my medical school. So I specifically chose to apply to jobs in Massachusetts because Massachusetts, for one, I believe is the research hub of the states. It has a lot of opportunities for research, be it from institutions, companies. There are a lot of places that are involved in research, and I really enjoyed research in undergrad. But also Massachusetts has great schools, a number of great schools and good medical schools that I was looking at, and I wanted to have the opportunity to make connections, be it with people in admissions offices, professors, and different people who would probably vouch for me. And so that was my mindset. But I was being intentional even as I was applying there, because I still kept it in mind. I want to set myself up for life. And so I moved to Massachusetts, and a few days into my move, I believe God spoke to me. He said, "You are so caught up in setting yourself up for life that you don't even realize that your foresight ends at life on earth." And I thought back at what my then present mindset was, and really it ended at, okay, me being set financially for life, my family being good, they're comfortable, and that's it. Like, that's where it ended. I had lost sight of what I believe was the purpose that God had placed in my heart. I had lost sight of that passion, that drive. I had lost sight of that. And even worse, I didn't think of anything to do with how my character would develop outside of my career. I didn't think about anything beyond life on earth. I didn't think about anything that would prepare me, for a life beyond life on earth. I wasn't in that headspace. I wasn't thinking about that. So that was one thing. Two, in my planning to set myself up for life, I had developed a mindset of being independent. I thought my future was in my hands and it was under my control, and I totally eliminated God from that. I didn't consult God about that. I thought it was in my hands and I had to control it. And yeah, there was no God involvement in it, in the sense that I didn't consult him on anything. I didn't think to say, oh, let me look at your direction and what you have planned for me, what you want for me, how you wish that I achieve the purpose that you gave me, which is why I exist. I was in my survival of the fittest mentality. And I think coming to that realization touched me, because I started to understand that, in as much as life on earth is filled with all its different trials, tribulations, all its different problems, it's so easy to get so caught up in that and to fix our eyes on making sure that we're good. We don't have to experience as much hardship as life would have us, and I got caught up in that mindset. And I know maybe some of you, as you're watching this, are thinking, oh, what's wrong with thinking like that? What's wrong with planning? What's wrong with making sure that I'm good and my family is good? The problem with it, or at least the problem with the way I was looking at things, was that I totally forgot that my very existence on this earth has a purpose to it. I got caught up in the way life goes, the order of life. You wake up, you do this, you do that, you achieve whatever, you plan for the next day. I forgot that I live with a purpose. I forgot that I don't have to figure out everything by myself. I forgot that my life is directed by God, And I think it's one thing to be intentional about each and every day's choices, and to make sure that you're making good enough choices that the you of tomorrow will not regret. It's one thing to live like that, and it's another thing to get so caught up in the hamster wheel of life, if that makes sense. I realized from that experience, and I think what God was trying to tell me was that, look, I gave you a purpose. There is a specific reason that you were created. There's something that I want you to achieve. There's something that I want you to become. There are people I want you to touch. And if you get so caught up, in doing or following a certain path, you may forget that the plan that I have for you, which is bigger than what you'd probably envision, is still there. I still want you to fulfill that. Don't neglect that. Look to me to give you the guidance. Look to me to get you into spaces and make sure you're set and your family is set, because that's really what I want. It's not for you to suffer. You don't have to take this burden on your own, on your shoulders, because I want to take care of you. That is my goal at the end of it all. And the truth of the matter is, sometimes you may envision yourself in certain spaces, but God hasn't intended for you to be in those spaces. And thinking about it right off the bat, especially when you admire certain people who are in certain positions and admire like what it looks like from the outside, God may have not envisioned that for you. Why? Because he's envisioned something based off of what is best for you, based off of how he created you and why. And that was something that I came to acknowledge and accept and realize that in all things, I really do need to look to God for guidance. And I've learned to do that in a sense of dialogue. I like to now think of it as a dialogue with God. So instead of, me just doing things on my own and, dealing with the frustrations of when things don't work out my way, instead, what I now think to do is have a mutual communication with God, in the sense that I may be thinking of things one way and I should be able to present that to God to say, okay, so this is what I have. This is what I'm thinking based off of the place that you've positioned me in, what I have gotten to learn from it. This is what I have to present. And be willing to listen to what God has to present as well, instead of going off of things on my own. Look to God, who knows the beginning from the end and the end from the beginning, and see what he has to present to you. So I hope what I've had to say makes some sort of sense, and it speaks to someone who may be in a similar predicament as me, may be a perfectionist, may like to think and plan for the future, may be thinking I need to set myself up for life. Don't allow yourself to get so caught up in the secularisms of life. Because at the end of the day, our purpose overall does not end on earth. God created us for bigger than earth, bigger than life on earth. And so I hope, anyway, this speaks to somebody. And yeah, in all my rumblings and whatnot in this video, I really hope I was able to communicate to at least one person who, like I said, may be going through this, and that you were able to find some good in this experience. And so yeah, guys, this is the end of my video. I hope you enjoy it, and I really hope that you have a great end of your week and start of a new week. I can't wait to see you guys in a new video, and cheers. Bye, guys.